everyone, it's Maddie. Today we're going to be discussing Scarlet by Marissa Meyer. As you might notice, there's no dust jacket on this because Gabby was gracious enough to allow me to borrow her copy of Scarlet to read as I don't own one. I told her to keep the dust jacket because I don't really read with dust jackets on, so I'll just insert a cover right here. Yeah. Scarlet is the sequel to Cinder by Marissa Meyer, which is the second book in the Lunar Chronicles series. That being said, if you haven't read Cinder, you can click here and watch the Cinder Booktalk I uploaded recently, and you can see all my feelings and all my thoughts and just everything about Cinder. I'll link that down below and here so you can go watch it and then come back. Scarlet follows Scarlet, as it says, yes, but this is a retelling of Red Riding Hood. So Scarlet, Red Riding Hood, colors, you know, the whole synonyms thing. Scarlet is actually 18 while Cinder was 16. I almost feel though like Cinder was more mature than Scarlet. Maybe it's because all of Cinder's life she's had hardships she's had to face while Scarlet has kind of grown up pretty cush with her grandma. In this book, Scarlet's grandmother has actually gone missing. Scarlet has been trying to find her grandmother, but she has not been able to, and then she meets Wolf. By meeting Wolf, Scarlet gets a lot more leads on where her grandmother could possibly be, and a lot of craziness ensues, and it's just so much action and awesomeness, and I loved it. I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, but a 92-ish% on my scale. I liked it a bit more than I liked Cinder, but it wasn't like a 4.5 star rating or a 5-star rating, because for some reason I read it really slowly, but that's probably because I started reading it right before school started. So the cool thing about Scarlet is that it follows in Cinder's footsteps, where it's not only Scarlet's perspective, but many others' perspectives. A lot more perspectives than actually in Cinder. We get Scarlet's perspective in this, Cinder's perspective, a boy named Captain Thorn's perspective, along with Wolf's perspective. We also get Queen Lavanna's perspective. Captain Thorn is awesome. In the beginning, I was reading about him and I was just kind of like, what a gem, what a peach. But now I can't help but picture him as the guy who plays Captain Hook from Once Upon a Time. I don't know his name. I can't remember his name, but I can't stop picturing him as Thorn, and I really like that because Mr. Captain Hook is quite handsome. I don't know what I picture Wolf as though. I had issues picturing him. Was that just me? I couldn't really get a clear image of him in my head. I did get that Scarlet was a redhead, but I kept not imagining her as like a natural redhead, but as a bottle redhead, where people now have been dyeing their hair that purpley tinted red almost. It took everyone much too long to discover that Cinder was Princess Celine. Even Captain Thorn, who spent the majority of his time in this book with Cinder, did not figure it out. Fictional characters are just not as good as picking up on foreshadowing as readers are. It's set in France, in the town of Rieux. I read it like Rieux, but I think it's Rieux. It's set in the small town of Rieux. Yeah, and Paris, and I've always wanted to go to France. I know that Cress is set in a satellite because Cress is in a satellite. I'm not going to pick Cress up anytime soon. Maybe in like a month or so. I probably will have forgotten some stuff by then. I don't really want to read it now because Cress is set in a satellite and claustrophobia, but also space. Space freaks me out, along with claustrophobia. That is the end of the non-spoiler section, so if you have not read Scarlet, I would read it, and then I would come back so we can discuss it. Wolf is a part of a pack of wolf humans from the moon. I didn't pick it up, but I wonder why Scarlet didn't pick it up, because he had enhanced senses, like he could smell things from a mile away and hear things and see things from a mile away, and he had insane fighting ability for his size. Would that not set off a warning bell on someone's head? He didn't even know what a tomato was. That's a little odd, don't you think, Scarlet? I mean, I didn't get it, but you should have got it because you were actually spending time with him. I was not, as he is a fictional character, and I was not really in his head until the very end when he was like, I don't love Scarlet, but I do love Scarlet, but I don't really know if I love Scarlet at all. Much like Red Riding Hood, the fairy tale, we have a point in this when a wolf dresses up like Grandmere. She goes in there and she's talking about her hands, how they're smooth, and that kind of confused me at first. I was like, wait, but then, no, the hands, they start to get bigger. They start to get bigger. And then her grandma died. Wolf almost ate her. I couldn't stop thinking of Twilight. I don't know why, but their romance felt kind of Twilighty to me, because at first he has this weird obsession with her, like he doesn't really know her, but he's like, hey, I want a job, and you know, you could hire me. Hey girl, come to the fight. He has this weird attraction to her, and then he has that part where he's like, you have to stay away from me. You'll be safer if you don't come with me, like Edward. But then also like Edward, he tries to eat her. He almost eats her, but then he doesn't eat her because tranquilizer dart hand Cinder comes to the rescue. And I was a little disgusted at that point. How are Scarlet and Wolf ever going to get together? I mean, how are they gonna come back from this? And we have that part on the ship when they're having that little dialogue about being okay. Well, what if you said the control when your animal instincts will overpower your own thoughts, right? But fighting and hunting aren't the only instincts wolves have. Aren't wolves monogamous, for starters? And isn't the alpha male the one who's responsible for protecting everyone? Not only the pack, but his mate too? I'm not saying I think you and I are after just, I know we just met and that's, but it's not out of the question, is it? That your instincts to protect me could be as strong as your instinct to kill? You could be right. That makes some sense. On Luna, we were kept so far removed from the rest of citizenry that there's never any chance of falling in. Maybe that's it. Maybe Jail's control worked against him because my instincts were telling me to protect you. And then we get farther on and she goes, Wolf, are you asking me to be your alpha female? Alpha female. Sort of like that. It was a little weird that a couple hours since he tries to kill her that she's like, I'll be your alpha female. That ending scene where Cinder is surrounded by all the creepy Luna Wolf people and then Scarlet's just like, get down! The ship comes around and just knocks everyone down with the landing gear, and I just love all these characters and I'm so excited to see all of them convene. We're going to meet Cress in the next book. I think people have said she's whiny, but I understand why, because she's lived in a satellite her entire life. I would kind of go a little cuckoo inside a satellite. We're actually getting a 5th book in this series now. I believe it's supposed to be 3.5. It will be between Cress and Winter. And this book is called Fairest, and it's Queen Lavanna's story, which I think is awesome because not enough do we get a story from the villain's perspective, and I love a good villain. Villains are fabulous. Without them, there is no story, really. There really isn't. Have you read this book? Tell me down below in the comments what you thought and we can discuss it. I'm Maddie, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!